Welcome back to another edition of Six Boroughs Sports. Today, we got a big announcement with the Baseball Hall of Fame. Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner all made it in. Beltran and Andrew Jones just missed out. But before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. So, leading off, we got to talk Ichiro Suzuki, the first Japanese born player to make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Totally deserving. In fact, deserving of unanimous voting. But some guy had to be cool and not vote for him. I don't know if it was because he was trying to vote for someone else who was trying to get, I don't know what the circumstances are. It's dumb. Ichiro should have been unanimous. He has the most professional hits of all time. He had 3,000 hits as a major leaguer. He won MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season, which is nuts. He's got, like, I was reading on ESPN, he's got so many crazy stories. There's a really good video. I might include some of it in this video of him just getting infield hits. It's just nasty. Ichiro infield hits, putting the ball perfectly where it needs to be for him to get infield hits. I grew up watching Ichiro. He was so much fun to watch. I saw him play as a Marlin when he came down to South Florida. But yeah, absolutely deserves it. I can't wait to see the turnout because Japanese fans are really getting into baseball now with all the stuff that's going on with the Dodgers, all these players that are playing for the Dodgers now. So the turnout should be fantastic when he gets into Cooperstown, and I probably think he's going to do a speech in Japanese. So I think this is going to be an awesome thing for Japanese fans in the not only in the United States but also in Japan. But just an awesome player from what I've seen and heard. He seems like an awesome guy and totally deserving of unanimous, but of course, someone has to be key and do vote for it. The other two, CC Sabathia and Billy Wagner, I always considered kind of borderline, but now with like the steroid era and some other, shenanigans going on, I am happy that they got in. CC definitely with the longevity, he was a huge impact on the Yankees. He's extremely effective pitcher. And then Billy Wagner was a dominant closer for a long time. I remember him on the Mets and the Astros too. I think he played a little bit with the Phillies as well. Yeah, congratulations to Billy and Cece. They both deserved it. Again, I have no problem with them making it. I just thought that they might be a little close with their numbers, but they both deserve it. Now, for the folks that unfortunately missed the cut, we're going to start with Andrew Jones, who got 61.6% of the vote. Um, yeah, he was another one of those borderliners. He's a great player. He's a fantastic fielder. I've watched him a lot growing up, being a Mets fan and playing the Braves all the time. Um, but I thought he didn't have enough hitting numbers to break into that. And then Carlos Beltran, I thought was going to get a little more votes, but his issue is he's involved in that Astros scandal, which not only cost him the Mets managerial job, but that might cost him the Hall of Fame as well. And he was borderline as well in my book, even before that. He had some good years, and then other years it's kind of questionable. Um, but after that, then you got the steroid guys like Alex Rodriguez and Manny, and then Omar Vizquel doesn't have the best reputation right now. Andy Pettit, he was a steroid guy. Uh, Torrey Hunter, he had a good career, but not Hall of Fame level. And then David Wright, who he's a shoe in Mets Hall of Famer, but He didn't have the longevity to make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame. But yeah, I guess my biggest gripe, I mean, I think eventually the steroid users should be in up to a certain point. Like Rafael Palmeiro, I'd be like, he just hit 500 home runs. He doesn't belong here. Like, he just made it. But like Barry Bonds and Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez, like those, and Roger Clemens, like those guys should be in the Hall of Fame. They were Hall of Fame players regardless of steroids. So yes, they have inflated stats, but even with the inflated stats, they would have made it into the Hall of Fame. Um, and I think people, yes, the steroids inflates your numbers because it like helps you, hit the ball harder and throw it harder, I guess. But I think the real advantage to the steroid use was the longevity and the ability to recover from injury. And we saw that with Andy Pettit confessing to taking steroids. It's not about the um, being able to dominate as much as it's about your ability to stay on the field. And that's why I think Barry Bonds, like, yeah, his numbers are off, but it's because he was able to just keep bashing home runs late into his career because he was able to stay healthy. But I think eventually those guys will get in. They'll have to do like a reevaluation down the road. Um, but that also begs the question: all right, who else do we let in? Like, if we're not going to let those guys in, are we going to let Beltran in? Because he was like kind of cheating too. Like he was involved in cheating. And do we finally let Pete Rose in, who passed away this year? That was a question I brought up. Was all right? He passed away. Do we put him in the Hall of Fame? I was saying too. It kind of timed very well. He passed away, and then you could put him in with Ichiro, and it's like the two hit kings together. Would have been interesting, but again, I don't know if they're going to eventually put Pete Rose in. But if they put him in, and then that opens the door for the steroid guys. But I think that might be further down the road. Which kind of sucks because, you know, a lot of the older baseball fans, they don't have as much of attachment to these guys. But like people in my generation, we grew up with these guys. These are the guys that we watched play, and they shouldn't have been cheating or whatever. But baseball wasn't doing a good job of policing it, to be fair. And they were getting paid the big bucks. Like A-Rod was one of the highest paid athletes ever at the time, and he's still he was still making ridiculous money even by today's standards. So I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting question, but it is kind of sad though, where they're basically like you grew up with these guys, but they all played during this era, and most of them are not going in, and it's sad. And also to the effect where it's like, okay, like I'm not saying everyone should take steroids, but like Bonds had that like great career, and like Ken Griffey Jr., he was supposed to have that really long career, be like the best player ever, and then the injuries caught up with him, and it's like, well, if he probably took steroids, he would have lasted like forever. Like he would have played like until he was 40 and like just like broken every record, you know but he didn't do it, and he got the unanimous. No, he didn't even get the unanimous. It was just Rivera. He got close too. He should have gotten unanimous just for resisting the urge to take steroids to recover from injury. Because if anyone was a candidate for that, it's him. Because he missed so much potential, Ken Griffey Jr., for not taking steroids. I'm assuming he didn't take steroids just because his injuries really hampered the second half of his career. But that's it for this week. I'd like to hear what your guys' opinion is in the comment section about the Hall of Fame and who should be in and who should be out. But once again, I'd like to remind everyone to please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you at the next video. Hopefully, the next video is Pete comes back to the Mets. See you then.